I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind has gone. It's New Year's Eve. If we all sing from the same hymn sheet, i.e., calendar, is it Gregorian they call it or whatever? It's a little bit silly to me. I know we need some kind of grid or some kind of reference, I suppose, but do you really think they counted down until Jesus was born? Okay, it was all made up afterwards. I realised that, but what is made up, and what is real? What in our history is factual? I don't know. Anyway, I wish you all the best for the new year, whatever it may bring. I hope it brings a lot more realization of reality, where we actually are, not a spinning ball. That's what I mean. And well, I hope there's no major conflicts anywhere. I hope. Well, I don't think there will be anyway, because I don't actually think nuclear bombs, nuclear weapons are real. They've never been used, as far as I can see. I know they're supposed to have been used in Japan in 1945, but I'm very skeptical about that. And I think it's just a fear mechanism, because well, certainly from the 50s onwards, we all lived on a yellow submarine. No, in the threat of nuclear annihilation, a worldwide destruction by nuclear war. And so it's a good one. It's a good ploy, just like the ploy that this is great as well, really, when you think about it. When they were supposed to be really, the Cold War, where they didn't actually exchange non-existent weapons, but they didn't actually fight. Not even a bullet. It was, well, maybe the odd spy or something, but there was no armed forces engaging between the Soviet Union and America. But there was a Cold War going on, apparently. However, during that Cold War, they conspired to pretend to go to the moon and have a race with each other, which, believe me, didn't happen. Well, don't believe me, do your own research. And it didn't happen. And throughout all that time, the Americans were selling at massive discount prices grain to the Soviet Union to keep them alive, to stop them rioting. So history, even though that is a known fact, I haven't, that nobody's tried to keep that quiet. But it seems ridiculous to me that you would feed your enemy, and all you really want is them to be in complete chaos, and people having riots due to starvation would just be the thing. Now, I wouldn't like that to happen to anybody, but if you were actually at war with somebody, well, that's what they try to do with the British Isles, isn't it? They try to starve us out, so we couldn't. All the Atlantic fleets would try to. Well, you know what I mean. So, so I just don't see there been ever any tension. Just for the people who watch, read, listen to the news. That's all it's for. It's just a big show. So there always has to be conflict and tension throughout the earth, but that's for that's like the look at that over there while I'm doing this down here. It's the distraction, and it works great. Just like I've just watched a film, and it's called The Big Country. Gregory Peck, it's a guy with the loves guns in America. Charlton Heston, he's in it as well. And Vivian Lee, is it Vivian Lee? Anyway, great cast, great film. Yes, these people can act, and they do draw you in. And when I was a child, I've seen this film before, many years ago when I was a child, probably. I thought that's what cowboys did, you know, as you would, I suppose. And that takes over from reality. It takes over from our history. These films that Hollywood produces. Now, I did notice there's a school mom, of course. In any good Western, there's always a school mom. And in her house, not even in the classroom, but in her house, she had one of those antiquated looking globes, you know, the wooden surround. And so even then, I don't mean when the film was made, which is I'm not sure when it was made, probably early 60s, but I mean it was set in the probably mid 1800s, and even then, you know, we were supposed to think that we were living on a spinning ball, and that's even before NASA faked all the photographs. Hey, but the acting, that's the thing. Now, when I watched westerns and believed, you know, as a child, there were a lot of westerns on. There seemed to be, you know, the genre of a Saturday morning. I don't know what it was, but there were a lot of westerns on, and of course the ones on Saturday morning were a bit lame, a bit tame, and the ones on Saturday night were, you know, after 9 o'clock maybe, and I did stay up. You know, I wouldn't say I was spoiled, but I used to get my own way quite a bit, you know, as regards staying up to watch something. Oh, it's important, Mother. I must watch this. You know, we're doing a project on it at school, or some bullshit. But the influence that films can have, and of course, when they're released, you go to the pictures to see them. I've been many times to see films with the pictures, but then they are in your home. They get on the small screen, and that is the main route of the programming, because it's all on there. Like I've just said, a Western. I wasn't looking for a globe, but there it was. There it was. Now, it's insipid. It's you think that something like a gardening program or natural history, or it's all there. Believe me, it's well, I keep saying believe me. I don't believe me, but know what I'm saying is correct, and that is why that's why I and many other people, probably, you know, the vast percentage of everybody, would think that they're on a spinning ball because of all the bullshit that we fed from via the television. The radio was great as well, but with when you see, when they got the television underway, then they went to the moon to show you the pictures. And just as I was convinced that the cowboys were living in that town and went drinking in that saloon every night, and their children went to see the schoolmarm and were taught by her, we were also expected to believe that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin danced about on the moon. Now, it probably wasn't even them in those suits. We never saw the face of the people in the suits. But they probably did the voiceovers. I don't know. I don't know how they did it, but it wasn't real. It's just, in fact, it looks much less convincing than, well, I don't know. That's probably a double, like a, not double negative, double bluff. Because I still think that Stanley Kubrick had something to do with it. The sets for 2001: A Space Odyssey were mostly in this country, and they could have done the first. It's very poor, the first footage of the moon landings. You know, the first mission to the moon. Very poor. And then the second one, of course, they didn't get any because the ignorant, lying Freemason, I can't remember his name. He's a really nasty one. He went twice, I think. Of course, it was all set up, but he said something like, with the camera when they were on the moon, do I shine it directly at the sun? Or, well, when he said sun, when he really meant the big spotlight on the sound stage, but he said, can I shine it into the sun or not? And he said, no. They were talking to him from NASA with no delay, by the way. No, don't shine it into the sun. Oh, okay. It's okay to shine it into the sun then. No, don't shine it into the sun. You fucking prick, is what they should have said. But hey ho, he shone it. He pointed it at the sun, and apparently that did for the film, the camera. So they couldn't get any footage of the second mission to the moon. So it's very easy to it's easier, shall we say, to build a set of a place that is like a fantasy world, because you really couldn't go there. It's just it's like tracing your shadow or something. I don't really think that you could actually go to the moon. You certainly couldn't get to the moon. We have no method of transport that will get you there. A rope ladder would be probably the best one, but it'd have to be, and it would have to be strung from the moon and hanging down from the moon. Anyway, that's just bullshit. But you see, oh, by the way, I've got my bee sick honey. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Next year, yes, which it will be very shortly. So it's coming to the end of my time now here. 14 minutes, 14 minutes 30 something seconds. So I'll just say, of course, you don't live on a spinning ball. Dave, you're very welcome to bring your bees next year, and I'll see you all next year, I hope, and have a good one. Although this will be too late to say, but have a good night. Good night.